Uh, on live, it's just me. Yeah. The great thing about YouTube is you go live, and then as soon as you um, as soon as I like end the video, it just automatically uploads to YouTube, and then the team in Pakistan, they just like take care of it. So it's really cool. Are you okay with me doing a little shout out?
Of course.
Here in Berkeley, California, staying with my friend George.
That's right. That's fine. I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Morning Movement. I'm broadcasting from beautiful Berkeley, California. I'm staying with a good friend of mine, George. We've been friends for 7 years now, and I, go thinking back on the acute phases of depression and mania. One of the pillars of bipolar recovery that I write about is having a good support group. And so I wanted to begin by expressing gratitude for the people in my life, my parents, my siblings, and my dear friends who, despite the me not being at my best, were there for me during the difficult times. So thank you, George. George is here in the room, and um, you know, if you are going through a period of mania or depression, know that you're not alone. Um, Seek out help from the people in your life. Let them know this is an exceptional time, that you need their support. And then you also have this weekly gathering where we can come together. And as I improve the technology, the camera quality, the sound quality, and then the ability to engage online more and build a sense of community here at BP Harmony. So today we're going to be focusing on our hips and the concept of good sleep hygiene. So, in my book, The Five Pillars of Bipolar Recovery, the first pillar that I talk about is sleep. In many ways, bipolar disorder is a dysregulation of our sleep cycle, of our circadian rhythm, is what the science, the terminology is that the human body has a certain rhythm that follows a the pattern of the daytime. When we are evolutionarily programmed to rise in the morning, to get energy from the sun, and then when the sun declines, to retire for the evening and to sleep. Now, there's different numbers out there about the amount of sleep that we should be getting, but roughly it's between 7 to 8.5 hours. That is what is the general advice that's common today in our time. But it's going to vary depending on your lifestyle, upon your sex, upon your age. Um, but for someone with bipolar disorder, sleep is something that is the first thing to fall and the last thing to be recovered. And so I guard sleep with lots of vigilance. And movement is one of those things that really helps with sleep. One tip that I want to offer today is good sleep hygiene begins the moment you wake up. Good sleep hygiene begins the moment we wake up. And so, one of the things that I write in my book is a good habit to incorporate in our lives in the morning is to go out and to make contact with the sun and to let the sunlight hit the pupils of our eyes for 5 to 10 minutes. Not to look at the sun directly, but especially the morning sun, to allow that to hit the pupils of our eyes. It is like an espresso shot, and it wakes us up, and it also boosts the production of serotonin in our brains. Serotonin is one of those chemicals in our brains that is one of the feel good um, chemicals, and good serotonin production in the morning facilitates the recovery of our circadian rhythm. So, just like in the morning, we allow light to enter our eyes in the morning, we do the opposite at night, where at nighttime, when the sun goes down, 2 to 3 hours before we start to dim the lights at home, we stop looking at screens. At minimum, we should stop looking at our phones and computer screens 1 hour before going to bed. This really helps with the recovery of the circadian rhythm. So go ahead and write that down, talk about it with your community, with your support group. On these are little tips that I talk about in my book, The 5 Pillars of Bipolar Recovery. And they, when practiced regularly, are things that can really help you recover your sleep. Sleep is first and foremost in the recovery journey towards better health. So let's go ahead and come into a seated position. Let's straighten our spine, broaden our shoulders, and relieve all tension on the neck, imagining our head is a buoy floating on water. Let's close our eyes. And just like last week, we'll inhale with our nose and exhale with our mouth, not breathing primarily with our chest, but with our stomach. So if it helps, place your hand on your stomach and inhale with the nose and exhale with the nose. During the inhale, your stomach will come out, and the exhale will come in. Go ahead and do it at your own pace, seeking to inhale for 5 seconds and exhale for 5 seconds. Take your awareness to the place that your hand is making contact with your stomach and just observe. Notice your heart beating. Take your awareness to your eyebrow, and if there's any tension, just relax. Notice your jaw. If there's any clenching, relax your jaw. Take a deep inhale, the biggest inhale of the day so far. And exhaled. If you're seated the way I am, go ahead and flip your legs, switch to the other side, and let's open our eyes. All right, let's inhale with our hands going up. And exhale, twist to the right. Inhale up. And exhale to the left. All right. We'll bring our hands to our knees, and we'll just start to make some circles, going counterclockwise, starting small, making bigger and bigger circles, opening up our hips, opening up our lower back. And breathe. Once you come back to the forward center, switch sides and rotate clockwise now. And just notice the subtle but expanding spaces in between your hip joints, your lower back, and breathe. Wonderful. All right. What we'll do now is we'll take our right hand onto our left knee, and we will drop our right shoulder onto our right knee. And we'll raise our hand up. Take a deep inhale and let those intercostal muscles right here on your ribs expand. We'll come back up and do it on the other side. Place our left hand on our right knee and then our left shoulder on our left knee as far as we can go. And we'll raise our hand up. And take a deep inhale. Let your inhales be deep, diaphragmatic, and exhale audibly. Wonderful. All right, from here, we're going to go into cobbler's pose. We're going to bring our feet together and open them up like a book. And from here, we're going to forward fold. And so we'll take an inhale with our hands up. And exhale, keeping our back straight. I have a slight neck injury, so I'm not as flexible as usual, but that's okay. The wellness journey is not necessarily a straight line upward, but sometimes you spiral down, sometimes you float back up. It's all part of the process. Just know that these temporary things pass, failures pass, successes pass. And go ahead and drop your head to allow for more traction in your cervical vertebra, and let the weight of your head create more space in between the bones of your spine. All right. Come back up. We'll bring our feet forward and we'll stretch out our hamstrings and our quadriceps and do a little twisting. So we'll bring our feet forward, our legs forward, and we'll inhale up and exhale, forward fold, aspiring to keep our back as straight as possible. If your hands don't make it to the toes, that's okay. You can put them on the shin. You can place them on the knee. And we'll come back up. We'll get some emphasis to our left hamstring muscle by placing our right foot, the heel of our right foot on our left inner thigh, and we'll forward fold, inhale up, and exhale, forward fold. And we'll come back up. Now we'll do that on the other side, bringing our right foot out, our left foot, the heel, going on the inner part of our right thigh, and we'll raise our hands up and exhale, forward fold. All right. Since next what we're going to do is we're going to kind of turn up the intensity and we're going to come into a squat position. Now, squatting isn't available to everyone. So if you can't, I would say start on your knees on the ground. And from here, if you can raise your knees, you're welcome to do so. And if you're able to come into a squat, this position is just incredible for so many different things. It is really good for regulation in our stomach. This is how, before the modern toilet, most people used the bathroom, and it was just exceptionally good for regulation. You doing all right, George? And from here, we'll just kind of lean to the right, lean to the left, lean to the right, lean to the left. We can give our wrists a bit of a stretch by taking our right hand, flipping it downward. So we'll take our hands together in the prayer pose, and then we will flip our right hand. There we go. And then press against it, and you'll feel a stretch on the top of your right forearm. We're stretching lots of different muscles right now. Our calf muscles, our shin muscles, our hamstrings, our hip flexors. There's a lot going on just in this simple position. All right, we'll return our hands into prayer pose and then do the other hand by taking our left hand downward and pressing against it, giving our left forearm a nice stretch. Yep. And remember to breathe. Now from here, grab your left shoulder, take your left hand and place it on your right knee and reach up. Oh, I kind of injured my neck a couple of weeks ago, and so this area has just been really tight. But this feels so good. Look up, look down, look up, and look down. Now we'll do it on the other side. We'll take our right hand onto our left knee and reach up. Look up, look down. Look up, and we'll look down. Whew. And we'll come out of the squat, give our hips a bit of a rest. That was a little intense, but starting to open things up. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to engage the core by doing a couple of plank positions. So we'll come onto a tabletop position, kind of just wag your tail a little bit. Notice that there's a bit more space, a bit more movement, a bit more flexibility in the spine. And from here, what we'll do is we'll take our elbows onto the ground, our forearms to the ground, and to the best of your ability, come into a plank position. And we'll just hang out here for the next 10 seconds. Embrace the shake. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And bring your knees down. Take a little breather. But in the next 7 seconds, we'll be back in plank position. But for now, this time we'll do it for 20 seconds. All right, ready to get back into plank position. You want your forearms you can hold your hands or you can keep them straight like this. And we'll get back into plank position. You don't want your bum to be up. You don't want it to be low like this. You want it to have kind of like a neutral. Embrace the wobble. Even after doing this for years, I still wobble. Five more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, that feels good. All right, from here, we'll go into downward facing dog and go through one vinyasa flow. From downward facing dog, come into plank position, chaturanga, up dog, and back to downward facing dog. Now from here, we'll come into plank position and we'll bring our right leg to the right of our right hand. And from here, we'll raise our hands up and rotate our arms clockwise. And rotate our arms 3 times counterclockwise. Nice. Now from here, I'm going to switch sides so you can see it better. So from here, being in this lunge position, what we're going to do is we're going to turn up the intensity a bit and come into a pose that will engage our legs and our core. So from here, we're going to come up, and the way we want to get into this position is we stabilize our legs, we aspire to make our shin perpendicular, our right leg parallel, we tuck in our tailbone, broaden our shoulders, straighten the back, and raise our hands. And we'll come back down. And from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into a pose called lizard pose. Now this will really open up to the hips. If this is juicy enough for you, go ahead and feel welcome to just stay here and feel the opening up of the hip. But if you feel like you can go a little bit deeper, sink your elbows, your forearms to the ground, and embrace the stretch. Come back up. And now we'll do that all on the other side, but we'll twist towards the middle, come here, and then we will hang and just forward fold. Just let gravity elongate the spine, elongate the pressure that we feel over here. Oops, the rug is moving. And now we'll switch over to the left side. And now we're in a lunge here. And so we'll do the same, where we'll take our left hand up. I think this is one of the most beautiful poses in yoga. It just really shows some of the cool things we can do with our bodies. And we'll rotate our arms counterclockwise. And then rotate our arms clockwise. Now, granted, I wasn't able to do this in day one of yoga, so don't feel intimidated if you're not able to do it today. But with regular practice, a lot of things are possible. And from here, we will re-engage the legs and we'll come back up into the following pose. Take a deep inhale, tuck in the tailbone so that your tailbone isn't sticking out, but you're tucked in. Straighten the back and sink deeper. Come back down. If this is juicy enough for you, go ahead and stay. But if you feel like you can go a little bit lower, come into lizard pose. Wow, I'm really tight from my travels yesterday. It's really good that I'm doing this. Welcome to And from here, we'll come back and we'll come onto our backs because we've been on our feet for some time now. And we'll just do a couple of rolls on our back. This is an excellent way to give your spine a massage. All right. From here, we'll take our knees onto our chest. We'll give ourselves a nice tight hug. Now what we'll do is we'll bring our feet to the ground. We'll widen them broader than your yoga mat. We'll take we'll take hold of opposite elbows. And now watch, I'm going to drop my knees to the right. I'm going to drop my elbows to the left. And I'm going to look to the right. And I'll come back to the center. And now I'll drop my knees to the left. Drop my elbows to the right. And I'll look to the left. We'll come to the center. And from here, what you can do is take your left foot and rest it on the right knee and give your left knee a little push.
Now from here, I'm going to thread the needle by taking my left hand through the center and around with my right hand and grab my shin. If this is too far, you can also grab the back of your right hamstring. But if you're able to reach your shin, pull it closer and you'll feel a stretch in your left hip muscle. And try to make contact with your ankle and nose. All right. We'll do that on the other side. We'll take our right foot, place the ankle on top of our right knee or on our right quadricep muscle. And from here, we'll raise our left leg, thread the needle with the right hand, come in. Oof, this hip is really tight. And that's okay. The thing with muscles is they'll resist, and then finally they will give way and open up. And we'll come back down. We'll get up on our knees, and we will do a series of 2 poses going from child's pose to cobra pose. So we'll start in tabletop, and from here you'll widen your knees broader than the mat, your yoga mat, and then you'll sink your hips down, keeping your hands planted and coming into one of the best restorative poses known as child's pose. And from here, you're going to come up. And this time, you're going to send your hips forward and give yourself a nice heart opener. Stretch out those stomach muscles. Look up. Take a deep inhale, looking up. And exhale back into child's pose. And do this. Let's do this 3 more times at our own pace. However feels good. If you can only do it 1 more time, that's okay. And we'll stay in child's pose for a good 30 seconds, really allowing gravity to elongate our spine, to open up our hips. then from here, we'll come back into tabletop and do a pose called cat-cow before concluding for this morning practice. So if you recall from last week, the way to do a cat-cow is we begin with the tailbone and we end with the top of our head. So when coming down, we raise our tailbone up, drop our stomach, raise our chest and look up, and then drop our tailbone, raise our stomach, drop our chest, arch our back upwards, and drop our neck. Inhale and exhale, cat. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose. If you're having trouble going to sleep at night, this pose, while it is energizing, it is also incredibly grounding and helps with kind of the chaos of the mind, the frenetic anxiety and racing thoughts that keep us awake at night. This movement, something quite special about it, and books on yoga, books on anatomy and physiology have a lot to say about this motion and all sorts of physiological health benefits. Not to mention just moving our spine in general. All right. We've come to the end of our practice today. Go ahead and either sit the way you were at the beginning of the practice or lie down on the ground in corpse pose or shavasana, just like this, like a corpse on the ground, and close your eyes. Close your eyes and let's scan our bodies from head to toe. Rather than performing an evaluation report of how we did and how we could have done better, let's simply close our eyes and start from the crown of our heads and simply observe. So go ahead and close your eyes and take your awareness to the crown of your head. Take it down to your eyebrows, your eyes, your ears, and breathe. Take it down to your nose. Notice the temperature of the air hitting your nostril. Come down to your jaw and your lips. Come down to your throat. To your shoulders. To your chest. Come down to your stomach. To your hips. And say, thank you, hips.
Thank you for all that you do for me and help me get around from point A to point B. Come down to your thighs, your knees. Say thank you, knees. Come down to our shins and our calf muscles. Our ankles, our feet, and finally to our toes. Let's wiggle our toes, wiggle our fingers. And if we're lying down, lean to our right side and come back into seated position. And we're right back where we started. But hopefully we're feeling grounded, we're feeling a bit more open in our hips area. We feel like our heart is pumping a little bit more, we're breathing a bit better, we're feeling more alert. Know that today's practice was done for the purpose of opening up our hips, but also with the idea that sleep preparation begins the moment that we wake up. The practices that we start from the daytime will really set us up for success at night. Especially in the beginning for me, I had a lot of anxiety going into bedtime, just stressing out about I'm going to be tossing and turning in bed. I have indigestion that's preventing me from sleeping. I have racing thoughts that I just cannot stop and control. And my advice to you, if you're going through something similar, is start good sleep hygiene from the moment you wake up. And so the two advices that I have for you today is one, when you wake up, make contact with the pupils of your eyes with the sun in the morning for 5 to 10 minutes. And in the evening, if you're struggling to fall asleep, then two poses in movement poses I highly recommend, which is child's pose and cat-cow. These two poses are really good at restoration, at grounding, and controlling wild energy. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.